Hello everyone, welcome back to Storytime. We are currently reading Ninja Nan Strikes Again by Annaliese Matheron, and Annaliese is a local author who has very kindly said that we can read her stories. So, have we caught Aunt G just in time? Was she trying to escape, run away? What was she doing? Let's read chapter 11 to find out, and this is called It's Spy Time. Ben relaxed into the high-back swivel chair and smiled as he found himself in the NPS headquarters once again. It was a huge underground complex beneath Honeypot Grove. The command centre was enormous. It had a large interactive screen on the wall which showed surveillance footage of the Grove in one corner and the NPS logo rotating along the bottom. In the middle was the profile and picture of Boris Bronsky, as well as the photo Ben had taken at the fair. The command centre was littered with workstations. At the centre of the room was the command post, an elevated circular workstation where the colonel gave his orders from. Nan had soon pulled Aunt Gertrude into the kitchen, and the two of them had a very heated discussion. Then Nan had ordered everyone into the command centre. "I guess this has something to do with you two," Uncle Cedric smiled at Kieran and Ben. Uncle Cedric was a nice old chap. He lived across the road from Nan and Grandad and was in charge of all the weapons and utilities used by the NPS. Ben had always liked him, even before he knew he was a spy. Uncle Cedric always had such good stories to tell about the war, although Ben believed them a lot more now he knew what the old man was. "Mr. Cedric," Kieran replied, "I hope you don't think any of this has anything to do with me. I'll have you know it was all Benjamin's idea." "Of course it was, dear," said one of the Miss Cleggs as she handed Cedric a cup of tea and offered the boys a biscuit. Ben had never been too keen on Miss Clegg or her sister, but after finding out they were spies and spending a bit more time with the spinster sisters, Ben had come to like them better. He still had his misgivings about their use of makeup as war paint and perfume as a repellent, but they knew how to make fantastic cakes and were always kind to him and Kieran. The other Miss Clegg came and joined them, and Mrs. Gillespie and Grandad left the monitor they had been working at and came over for some light refreshment too. "Where's your cute little puppy?" Kieran asked Mrs. Gillespie. "Cute? Gee, son, they really messed you up good, didn't they?" Grandad said, patting Kieran on the arm. "Pixie isn't allowed in the command centre," Mrs. Gillespie said, ignoring Grandad and giving Uncle Cedric a dirty look. "It's not safe for him." "Now, Glynis, that wasn't my fault," Cedric said. "The little brute shouldn't chew so much. It's not my fault the wires were live. Honestly, it wasn't." "Humph," Mrs. Gillespie said in reply. "Really," said one of the Miss Cleggs. "When was that, 5 years ago? And you're still going on about it?" "I don't know what the fuss is all about," the other Miss Clegg said. "Cedric, you managed to fix all the wiring after a few days, and all Pixie's fur grew back after a month or so." Ben smiled at the thought of a butt-naked Pixie. Just then, the double doors slid open and in came Colonel Brown, Commander and Chief of the Spy Ring at Honeypot Grove, followed by Nan and Aunt Gertrude. "It seems we have a mission on our hands, troops," Colonel Brown said. "Gertrude has been filling us in on a threat she had uncovered, and while she had been working in a non-official capacity. I've been in touch with London HQ and they feel this needs attention. As such, they have sanctioned our mission. We're calling it..." He looked down at a sheet of paper that Mrs. Gillespie had just handed him. "Operation Teen Twit." "Really, Mrs. Gillespie? You couldn't think of anything better?" "It's within regulations and follows the alphabetic classification protocol assembled for mission naming," Mrs. Gillespie said. The two of them locked eyes for a moment, and Ben couldn't help but notice they were sporting matching moustaches. Although Mrs. Gillespie's unruly top lip coverage looked positively wild compared with the waxed and well-ordered display by the Colonel. "Very well, Teen Twit it is. Gertrude will now take us through all the reconnaissance. I've seen that word written down. I've never said it before. Reconnaissance. There we go. Reconnaissance. Gertrude will now take us through all the reconnaissance she has on this. Sorry. "Thank you, Colonel Brown," Aunt G said as she stepped forward to address everyone. Nan was watching from the side with her arms folded, glaring at her little sister. Ben wouldn't have liked to be Auntie Gertie right now. For the past 8 months, I've been hearing reports of strange things happening to the nation's youth. Teenagers up and down the country have been forced to change their outlook on the world. They have been stripped of their personalities, individualities, and free will. That's appalling, Kieran said. Quite, continued Aunt G. I and a few associates have been trying to find out what is going on, and this week, with the help of Kieran, we tried to find out exactly how the teenagers change. Kieran started to smile broadly, although he had no idea what he had done. Nan started to stare daggers at Aunt G. We recently found out that the instances of this modified teenage behaviour followed a pattern. Aunt Gertrude pressed a few buttons on the computer nearest to her, and a map of the country sprang onto the big screen behind. It was littered with red dots. In some places there were 1 or 2 dots, but around some bigger towns there were hundreds. The red dots are confirmed cases of strange behaviour, and if I put the route of the travelling fair over the top in blue, you'll see that it follows this pattern. Sure enough, the places where the fair stopped marked the epicentre of the collection of dots. So, just to recap, said Miss Clegg, the travelling fair is altering the minds of teenagers and turning them into model citizens like Kieran here, and we need to find out why. Yes, said Colonel Brown, and how to change them back. What do you want to do that for? Asked the other Miss Clegg. Well, I must admit the new Kieran is very helpful. It's not right. The boy should be able to be himself and find his own way, make his own mistakes, and find his own truths. They all should, Grandad said. Hear, hear, said Colonel Brown. If you're only trying to help, then why are you leaving? Ben asked Aunt G. The fair is moving out tomorrow morning, and I had to follow them. I'd arranged with an associate of mine to meet at the next town on the route so we could find out what happened to the teenagers once they got inside the ride. Aunt G said, Kieran was meant to find out what happened. I was? Kieran asked. Yes, but instead they got you, and I'm sorry about that, Aunt G said, looking at Nan. We think they are using some kind of mind control. I thought the glasses would keep him safe from any hypnotic rays, but they didn't. A moment passed between Nan and her little sister. Ben could see that Aunt G was truly sorry for putting Kieran in danger and that Nan had forgiven her. Hang on, Ben said. You sent Kieran into that ride to find out what happened inside, but he can't tell you. Yes, said Auntie Gertie. Well, in that case, I can, Ben said. Well, yeah, do you remember he kind of crept in under the tent, didn't he? And he had a little bit of a spy in there. So, oh, I'm glad Aunt G isn't a baddie. I thought she was doing something wrong. See, you can never tell, can you? You can never tell what kind of person somebody is. So hopefully all of this will get sorted with the help of the community there, and they'll be able to hopefully make everything okay. But come back again when we will read the next chapter of Ninja Nan Strikes Again by Annaliese Matheron. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.